Hi folks, I'm Walter Bernasiak and this is Top 5. Here we count down the best and worst performances from our most beloved actors. Today we take a look at everyone's favorite human punching bag, Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone has had quite the career for himself, from Oscar-nominated screenwriter and actor to Razzie-winning actor, and back again. He's even going to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in next year's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The 70-year-old has been known for his subpar performances and films, but let's not forget, when Stallone is casted in the right part, he can be a fantastic actor, and these are his top 5 best performances. Number 5. Johnny Kovac in Fist. This was a not very well-known film from 1978 and was Stallone's first time back on screen after Rocky catapulted him to stardom 2 years prior. He co-wrote the screenplay and actually shows off some pretty good range here as Johnny Kovac, loosely based on Jimmy Hoffa, at 2 very different points in his life. Johnny Kovac works in a warehouse and grows tired of the unfair policies in place, leading him to start a riot. Though Kovac is fired, his spirit wins him the admiration of others, and he becomes a new recruit for a labor union known as the Federation of Interstate Truckers. As the union becomes more powerful, Kovac's influence grows, and eventually his ambitions result in a partnership with the mob. However, as Kovac deepens his criminal ties, his life grows more dangerous. There are points in this where Stallone plays Kovac somewhat like Rocky if he was leading a large group of underdogs, and those moments work great. It's easy to root for him and his friends early in the film. Stallone shows off his trademark charm and plays a bit of a schemer here, a little bit of a departure for what works for him, but he plays this pretty well. Gray areas are well present in this character. Kovac does what he has to do throughout the film. He was pushed too far and became desperate, which is where the character's moral compass begins to stray. That inner struggle is well handled by the young Stallone, and he absolutely deserves credit for that. About 2/3 through, the film jumps over 20 years ahead from the 30s to the 50s, and Stallone gets to play Kovac at a more advanced age. He's still good as the elder version, but that portion of the film goes on a touch too long, and the longer it goes, the more flaws in Stallone's performance are made visible. If the movie was about 20 minutes shorter, this would have been a hidden gem of a role for young Sly, but as is, it's still one of his best performances. If you're a big Stallone fan, go ahead and seek this one out. I think you'll definitely like it. Number 4. John Rambo in First Blood. Arguably Stallone's most popular character, John Rambo has been tied to Sly for 34 years, and it's easy to see why. He's perfect for the role. Quiet, vulnerable, yet a mega badass. He is the quintessential action hero, and Stallone's best performance as John Rambo is still in the very first film in the franchise. Vietnam veteran and drifter John J. Rambo wanders into a small Washington town in search of an old friend, but is met with intolerance and brutality by the local sheriff. When he and his deputies restrain and shave Rambo, he flashes back to his time as a prisoner of war and unleashes his fury on the officers. He narrowly escapes the manhunt, but it will take his former commander to save the hunters from the hunted. Sly has always been great at conveying emotion with just his face. A lot of the times, no words are needed. He can effectively emote with just a glance, and we can right away tell what he's thinking. That is evident in the very first scene of the movie when we see the last ounce of hope leave Rambo as he finds out that his last friend is dead. We can see everything with just his face, no words necessary. The building up of Rambo's rage is probably the best part of the whole movie. He tries reasoning, he tries holding back, but when the ignorance is too much, he snaps. Great action and stunts are constant here. Sly is great and believable in these guerrilla warfare scenes, something that he's always done very well. Everything comes to a climax in that final scene when we see his former Colonel Troutman finally talking Rambo down. The monologue that follows is still one of Stallone's best of his entire career. It's sad, it's emotional, it's maddening, but most importantly, it's believable.
You're the last of an elite group. Don't end it like this.
Back there, I could fly a gunship. I could drive a tank. I was in charge of $1 million equipment. Back here, I can't even hold a job. Fucking guys! Ah!
Stallone had a hand in co-writing the script as well, which itself was adapted from David Morrell's 1972 novel. All the creative juices were working on this project, and it's still one of Stallone's best performances and films. Number 3, Freddie Heflin in Copland. When people defend Stallone as a good actor, they usually point to Copland, and there's a reason for that. Stallone's understated and selfless performance reminded moviegoers and critics that he could still be a great actor when he's cast in the right part. When a hot-headed young cop accidentally gets involved in an ugly, racially motivated incident, his uncle Ray Donlin, a corrupt New York City cop, attempts to sweep it under the rug by helping fake his nephew's death. The bungled cover-up leads to investigations by idealistic internal affairs officer Mo Tilden and Freddie Heflin, sheriff of the suburban New Jersey town where Donlin and his fellow crooked policemen live. The first thing people usually notice about this role for Sly is that he gained a considerable amount of weight. Make no mistake about it, this isn't Rambo. He looks and acts very different from what we're used to seeing him as. Freddie is a soft-spoken, damaged character, even more so than the similar parts he's played before. Once again, Sly's subtle facial expressions make this character memorable in a film filled with great actors and performances. Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Ray Liotta, and more all have great turns in this movie. Stallone downplays his usual trademarks and is willing to let other actors shine in scenes with him. This is a great character for him, and I really wish he would do more like this. Also, the chemistry with Stallone and De Niro is really fun to behold. They should do more movies together. Number 2, Rocky Balboa in Rocky. It's the role Stallone was born to play. I know it, you know it, and everybody who's ever seen it knows it. Rocky Balboa and Sylvester Stallone are almost indistinguishable from each other. And sincerity is very important for Sly. You can tell when he's not believing what he's saying. In 1976's Rocky, you believe every line that's read. Rocky Balboa, a small-time boxer from working-class Philadelphia, is arbitrarily chosen to take on the reigning world heavyweight champion Apollo Creed when the undefeated fighter's scheduled opponent is injured. While training with feisty former bantamweight contender Mickey Goldmill, Rocky tentatively begins a relationship with Adrian, the wallflower sister of his meatpacker pal, Paulie. There really shouldn't be much I have to say about this performance. If you haven't seen it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Go watch Rocky. It's one of the best American movies ever made, and Stallone is the main reason why. He penned the script and choreographed the boxing scenes along with starring in this. He would also go on to direct 4 of the 6 sequels. His performance goes beyond the cultural impact that this character has made. It's deeper than the quotes you know, although they are fun to say.
Adrian! What you think about Southpaw? Adrian! Absolutely. Adrian! Hey, yo.
From the first moment we see Rocky, we are all connected to him. We feel sympathy for him. We root for him. We see ourselves in him. How he sees the world, how he engages his friends and enemies. We can't take our eyes off him for a second. That's why he's one of the most beloved movie characters in history. The scene with Little Marie is a great example of this. He's trying to help out his friend's little sister. He legitimately cares, but when he tries, it's thrown back in his face. His whole life has been like that up until this point. When Apollo chooses him to defend the title against, this is where the twist comes in. How does a guy react to something like that? He turns them down. He doesn't think he's worthy of that shot. And that's the perfect reason why he is. The people around him also make him better. Paulie, Adrian, Gazzo, even Apollo. They make Rocky, the character, and the movie even stronger. The chemistry with this cast was off the charts. Sly fills this performance with all his best little subtleties. His body language, the little comments he makes, they all make Rocky more endearing. It's the best underdog story ever. Self-respect, self-worth, and proving something to yourself is what is gained in this tale. I can go on for hours, but the best way you can see what I'm talking about is to just go back and watch the movie. Believe me, you won't regret it. And the #1 best Sylvester Stallone performance is Rocky Balboa in Creed. Am I cheating with this? The answer is no. Let me tell you why I had to put Sly's performance in last year's Creed as the best of his entire career. This is 9 years after the last installment, and Rocky is in a totally different place than he's ever been in. The addition of Apollo's illegitimate son, Adonis, showing up after all these years makes things in his life that more complicated. It brings up emotion in him we've never seen before and also builds off the characteristics that we've seen in the previous 6 installments in the series. Adonis Johnson never knew his famous father, boxing champion Apollo Creed, who died before Adonis was born. However, boxing is in his blood, so he seeks out Rocky Balboa and asks the retired champ to be his trainer. Rocky sees much of Apollo in Adonis and agrees to mentor him, even as he battles an opponent deadlier than any in the ring. With Rocky's help, Adonis soon gets a title shot, but whether he has the true heart of a fighter remains to be seen. At the age Stallone is at, he can take these supporting roles and come off looking better than ever. This was the perfect use of Rocky. He's not the main character. A younger fighter in Adonis takes his place while Rocky fills the role Mickey did for him 40 years ago. Because we know so much about Rocky at this point and have been with him since the beginning, every word he says carries so much weight, and Stallone hits a bullseye with every scene. Huge props to director Ryan Coogler for telling a near-perfect story with familiar and new characters. Mark my words, that guy is going to be around for years to come. If this doesn't convince you, go back and watch Fruitvale Station. Besides the effective emotional scenes, Stallone also brings in really funny little bits into this performance. Those bits are present in 2006's Rocky Balboa, but they're brought to a new level here. They're just sprinkled in enough to be legitimately funny, but not overdone. Michael B. Jordan is also a big reason why Stallone is so amazing in Creed. Their layered back and forth and complicated relationship makes every scene something to see. Jordan really should have been nominated for his turn as Adonis in this. Donnie and Rocky's friendship goes through its ups and downs, as it should, and Rocky dealing with his own personal issues here makes his performance even better. Creed makes Rocky Balboa viable 40 years after his initial run in theaters. Honestly, it may be his best. Rocky 1 made Rocky the underdog everybody relates to. The sequels added to his saga and relatability, they cemented his iconic status, but Creed made Rocky Balboa a legend, and there is no way I could have ranked Sly's performance in this any lower than number 1. I want to hear what you guys think. What is your favorite Stallone movie and performance? Who do you want to see me cover next on the show? Leave a comment and let me know. Next week, we're looking at the top 5 worst Sylvester Stallone performances. But to be honest, after seeing how great these were, it can't be that bad.
I am the law!
Who are you people?
We are you.
Oh no.